It's episode 325 of The Platformers, a show about games and nerd culture, and I am your host, Brian Barnett.
I am the steward, Chris Cornelise.
Yo, I'm Mo Burger. What's up?
I'm Lucas White. I got nothing. I'm tired.
I'm on Cashew. Anyways, it's been a while. Will, I just wanted to start the show by saying thank you for putting on a great show with the young Thomas Wilde.
We did okay.
Yeah, last episode that went
Is
up.
he young? Isn't he older than all of us?
He is, but that's the fun of it.
That's the joke? Okay.
Don't you just love the known pagan young boy Thomas Wilde?
That's it. That's it completely.
That's exactly.
Justin
A
Bieber
brand new, fresh-faced up-and-comer in our industry who does not have any experience whatsoever.
He's a
we
pagan.
think there's a bright future
He's
ahead of him.
basically an infant, and he's an idiot. All three
talking about?
things that are definitely true about Thomas Wilde, and not the exact opposite of those things.
The one thing I love about Thomas is, like, if you've ever chatted with him via, like, voice, he's very funny, very clever.
Yeah.
But if you chat with him via text, he's also very funny and very clever. But in a way that you can tell is, like, this man was forged in the bowels of the old internet.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You are not ready.
Something
This man
awful
was a
is in his
forum
blood,
poster.
quite
Yeah.
literally.
As a former forum poster myself, I respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine
right
he
there
was
with you.
a goon by the previous definition of goon.
It's true.
Yeah. No,
I mean, he might be a
I'm
goon
pretty
by the
sure-
modern definition of goon. We don't know.
We don't know.
I think we're
don't know.
doing
We
an
don't
awful
judge.
lot of speculating while Thomas is not here to defend himself.
But that's when it's the most fun. I mean, come on.
I don't know. It can be fun to
Also, let me
say it to their face.
let me quote my favorite antagonistic comic book character of all time, J. Jonah Jameson, and say, slander is spoken, in print it's libel. Anyways,
He's right, you know.
he is right.
Now bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
But, you know what? Shout out to J. Jonah Jameson. When he knew who Spider-Man was, and the Green Goblin tried to get him to rat on him, he didn't do it.
He didn't. Man of conviction.
He is.
Not always the right one.
Yeah. I gotta respect it. When the chips are down, he knows the difference between a menace and a villain. And I respect that about him. Anyways,
Fascinating character.
shout out to J.K. Simmons. One of the greatest to ever do it.
Didn't he have a weird
Seriously,
relationship
good
with Aunt
casting.
May at some point?
A weird relationship? You mean by which they got married?
Yeah, okay.
That sounds like them behaving completely appropriately. to be
Yeah.
honest.
It
Honestly, yeah.
It wasn't like stalkerish or anything. That was actually during the black suit era, which was before the black suit was retconned into being an alien. That was just when it was like something he got when he was helping the Fantastic Four out on a space mission. Anyways, that's freaking deep cuts, deep Marvel Spider-Man cuts with Brian. But
Before it became a symbiote and or Venom.
yeah. And then before Venom became something fucking even weirder, which it is now, as we're waiting for Venom: The Last Dance to come out. I know we're all just waiting on tenterhooks.
The only way I can describe the Tom Hardy Venom movies is these are fucking terrible, and I love them.
Yeah,
They're so shit, but the schlock is just
yeah. It's fun. It's fun trash for sure.
he knows how to chew at the scenery. So
Yeah, yeah. Tom Hardy is great.
It's good. We love schlock sometimes.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
As players and purveyors of video games, we are well accustomed to schlock.
We're well accustomed to what?
Schlock.
Schlock.
Oh, yes. And slop, too.
Slop too. Definitely slop.
And a couple episodes ago, Schlong. You know, just starting off really well.
It was this big.
As Will said, everything can be used in that way if you're brave enough.
Listen, it's just a matter of confidence and bravery.
God, it's good to have the four of us back in the saddle together, just on one horse, on a very long horse, a dachshund horse, one saddle, all four of us.
You could also use a horse that way if you're brave enough, but probably only the one time.
It's true, just the one time, and then you're probably gonna have some intestinal bleeding.
Do I dare sing the song? Oh, I'm so tempted to sing the song.
You can
Please
if you
don't
want
sing
to.
the
I
song.
won't stop you. But
I won't stop you, but I will ask you politely.
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Anyways, we've been talking about a lot of stuff. Speaking of schlock, schlock is Yiddish, right?
I don't know the etymology to be true.
I figured Will
Let's
would
look
know
it up.
that since he's in New York and he loves taking people who visit him in town to Jewish delis.
I was gonna say, are we bringing up the Jewish deli? I don't think it's Yiddish. Yeah, etymology
Hey, called it.
from Schlock, SHLAK, meaning evil nuisance, literally or below. First use in modern English, 1916.
Nice. Called it.
Fascinating.
Kobe. Anyways, let's start off the show with some news. This is probably not known to a bunch of people out there publicly, but these guys will all know. My mother had an accident. She was in a really terrible car accident and blacked out, and her heart stopped and was in a terrible wreck, broke her ribs and her collarbone and some stuff like that. She's been in the hospital, but she had a pacemaker installed. She's doing better now. She's actually able to move around on her own. She's doing very well. I talked to her on the phone. So everybody out there who was giving me well wishes and hoping that things turned out well, it appears that they are turning out as well as they could have. So I wanted to say thank you to everybody and just give you that good news.
Yeah, that's the Mama Barnett.
Shout outs to
Absolutely.
Mama
Genuinely
Barnett.
glad to hear it.
And in other good news, my wife and I are getting ready for number 2.
Oh shit!
Let's go! Dad squared. Your pounds are about to get infinitely worse.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. But yeah, we are gonna welcome our second child into the world sometime in the early to mid next year. So there's that.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
So thank you very much.
Do we know the sex of said child?
We do not. We will relatively soon, but I think we're gonna get the blood test and everything. Then I'm fascinated. I'm happy either way. Ideally, I think I would like to be able to experience both sides of parenting, like parenting a girl and a boy at some point. And I don't know whether we're going to have more than that, but if I
Parenting
have
a boy will be fun because you can tell him, like, son. You know, when he's like 16, right? Like, I don't care what you do, but when everybody else jumps off the roof into the pool, just make sure that you land in the pool.
Yeah.
No, the advice you have to give is, son, don't stick your dick in crazy. No matter how fun it may be, do not do it.
Or, anyways, we'll leave that for another time. But yeah, so I don't know, but I'll be happy. I'll be happy no matter what. Riley is just absolutely dynamite, and I can't wait to see. She is incredibly excited. She cannot wait to be a big sister. So she is really amped about that.
You know, in about 10 years, she's going to be very sick of her little sibling.
Probably.
And you can remind her, like, when you were 5, you were so excited.
Yeah.
Can confirm I'm the eldest child. Same shit. I was so excited,
But for right now,
and then he was a menace.
she's
love my
holding it
brothers,
down.
but oh
In
my God.
fact, yesterday she was up in St. Louis and they took her to a Cardinals game, and she stood up in the middle of the Cardinals game and said, "Boo Cardinals, go Dodgers." The Dodgers were not playing.
Listen, she's a little confused. She's got the
But she
spirit.
got the spirit.
She's got it. She's proudly representing our family up there, and I really appreciate that. She's on vacation.
It's
with
a
her
shame that you've,
grandparents.
like, kind of shackled her to, like, middling sports teams, historically, who are now good, but will eventually be middling
Oh.
again.
I was about to say, Shohei Ohtani just became a historic baseball figure.
Yeah. You don't get to take credit for the Japanese guy. Come on.
He's on our team. I get to be excited.
If there's one thing I've learned from the Like a Dragon series, is that Japanese be good at baseball, yo.
It's true.
Yo, they love baseball over there.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
know
you don't
they
even
do.
need to learn that from Like a Dragon. You could have watched Samurai Champloo and learned that.
I mean, true. That is the best episode of that.
You don't even got to do that. You just got to know like a little bit about Japan. Like they love baseball over there.
They really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really do.
But boy, do you get immersed in it if you play enough Like a Dragon.
Yeah. I mean, baseball is
hitting
great.
minigame?
Come on, let's be real. Baseball is a great game, especially since they introduced that pitch counter. I'm really happy about that. Let's keep things moving. Anyways,
I think the pitcher should have been allowed to take as long as they want.
just sit there. So you're a fan of the baseball filibuster, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am in general against rules. I think
that checks out.
The more rules that you put on a sport, generally the less fun it is.
Yeah.
I need to buy you the Persona 5 Ryuji shirt that just says "No Mo Rules."
Yeah. Oh shit! God damn it! I don't think my wife is home to get it for me. Fuck. Okay, never mind. I was thinking because of what I'm going to be talking about. Because of what I'm going to be talking about later. I actually have Junpei Iori's hat from Persona 3 because I bought Persona 3 Portable on the PSP, and when you pre-ordered that from GameStop when it first came out, they gave you that hat. I actually have two of them.
Amazing.
And I think I gave one to a friend because they just had extras and nobody cared about it except for me. But anyways, we'll get to that later. But yeah, speaking of getting things back on track, let's talk about some games. All right?
Video games.
Video games.
Disgusting.
Degenerate. Also, we hope.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about some degenerate games, I'm sure. But I wanted to say, having last time I talked about Marvel, right? We talked about the Marvel vs. Capcom Collection. It's really great. It's a lot of fun. Rollback is a hell of a drug.
And confirm, as someone who's been playing it,
Yeah,
MVC collection, pretty good.
It's
MVC
really, really good.
3 rollback win, Capcom.
we really need it.
I need it. I need it in my veins.
We really need
I'm jonesing for a hit.
So
Well, I'm sad you weren't here when we were talking about the Punisher having an Azuna drop for no reason.
yeah.
Right? I am also upset about that.
Oh, actually, yeah, we can talk about that this time, Lucas, because I don't think we've recorded since we did that.
Oh, God.
I will say, like, on the basis of someone who hasn't been able to talk about the MVC collection so far, like, the stuff that they did with the museum, really
It's
great.
so good.
I love that they put in a training mode with, like, hitboxes and
Yes.
shit. That's great.
It's so good.
I love that they have got these games running basically arcade perfect, which is cool. Like, there's, like, every time we get, like, a re-release of something like this, especially for something like Marvel 2, Marvel 1, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, stuff that you can't just go buy, right? For a long time. Like, you could not just go buy these things unless you bought one of the one-up arcade cabinets, which are great and lovely, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
you gotta have a place to put it. I don't know if you can see my apartment right now.
it's real small.
It's not very big.
I've stayed
And
there. It's
kind
very
of a
small.
mess.
Yeah.
And
Those are not full-size cabinets, but they're still chunky.
yeah, and you gotta have a place to put them, right? And
And $500 to go on.
yeah, and $500, and then if you move, you gotta move it, and this whole thing. So,
Brutal.
like, having this collection that has clearly, like, seen a lot of love and is very, the rollback also amazing.
So good.
Um,
I never have
know,
to
I-
fire up Fightcade ever again.
again,
And I'm grateful
still
for
have-
that shit.
I still have to because of Third Strike. I can't say ever again.
Well, I mean, surely that's coming at some point.
It's
I know.
Did the
But-
Street Fighter collection not have rollback?
It does question mark, but it's kind of poopy.
Apparently, it's not very good.
Yeah, it's not very good. It's also just not the best version of Street Fighter 3.
Yeah. I think I only have that collection on Switch because The PR guy was sending it to me when I was going up to Chicago on vacation, and I was only taking my Switch. I need to get that on PC at some point, but
If the MVC collection has one major flaw, it's not cross-platform.
yes, that is a big bummer. Although I have talked to some people, and that is something they want to add.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do, right?
Yeah.
I know it's not stopping Justin Wong from his quest to destroy
the Wazzler. Yeah.
The Wazzler. That is the best story to have emerged.
Beware the Wazzler.
Listen, I think it's funny that... I don't know if you saw this. It was a couple of years ago now. There was like this upstart MVC2 kid, and he was like money matching like all the old legends, and he'd beaten a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then he money matched Justin Wong for like 10 grand.
That was a fucking mistake, bro.
He won like 3 games, I think. That was the first to 10, first to 15. Like, it was not close. Like, he won a couple, and then Justin Wong was like, okay, I'm going to play for real now. And that was just kind of...
Download complete, here we go.
Yeah, it's
your soul is mine, your money is mine, you're going to learn today, kid, etc.
Yeah, it's crazy that he has maintained, like, I am the best ever at this for that long. Yeah. Right? Where it's not even
continuing. Like now, he's just like, yeah, no, I'm going to be number one at this game on every single platform, on every single version.
Yeah.
And man is delivering. Like, shout out.
Yeah.
And he's out there
puts the fun in Refund.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Shout outs to the greatest Marvel player of all time.
Yeah. But what I was getting at with that is that I because of the Marvel collection, I was like, all right, this is a hole in my fighting game knowledge. My first tag fighter, I mean, technically the first tag fighter I ever played was Marvel 3, like Ultimate Marvel 3, but I only played it for like a day and a half in Austin when I was visiting a friend and staying with him, and I don't really count that. Like, so really the first tag fighter that I like actually played was Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I love that game. I actually just played some today with one of our colleagues, and it was super fun. I adore that game. But Marvel is where all this stuff came from, and getting to see the evolution of everything. It's like, okay, this is a 1v1 X-Men game. Okay, this is a 1v1 Marvel game. Okay, now this is like a 2v2 game, but there's no assists, and then you have like a separate like assist that you can call, but it's kind of random, but it's also kind of like a lottery thing. And then you can pick assists, and then there's 3 versus 3, and then it's like, oh, now it's 2 versus 2, and we don't have assists anymore, but we have like this kind of other mechanic that you can get different effects based on. It was interesting to go through, and I played like every game in the Marvel vs. Capcom collection extensively, and then wrote about them for Kotaku, which was really fun. And then I was just kind of like, man, I want to experience more. And I owned these games because I picked them up in Steam sales whenever they were cheap. But I went back and played, UMVC 3. And then I sat down with some of my bandmates and we played a bunch of that. And then I downloaded MVCI. And then we started playing that. And so I've just gone through this whole thing. And then I went back to a bunch of other fighting games that I haven't, played a lot of recently. I went back to SF6. I went back to Tekken. I went back to these other games. I went back to KOF 15. And I went back to Persona. I went back to Grand Blue. I went back to so many fighting games. And, there's a kind of a saying that we have in our group popularized by our very own Will Berger, which is fighting games good. And previously I was like, some fighting games good. Arxis fighting games good. Arxis fighting games are still the best, but I think I'm actually on the fighting games good train basically universally, almost universally at this point, spending so much time in so many different ones. I'm just like, yeah, I fucking love this. And
fighting game is good.
Fighting game's good, man.
Fighting game's good.
But you gotta play all the weird ones next.
Yeah, I gotta go back.
Yeah, you gotta play like Clay Fighter, man.
Boot up.
I played Clay Fighter back in the day. I played Killer Instinct and Primal Rage.
I've sat here and listened to Brian talk about Uni. Like, he's dabbled some of the weird shit.
It's true.
Yeah, but how is his Bloody Roar knowledge?
I have played Bloody Roar.
Someone challenged me on Twitter to like, if a Bloody Roar ever gets remastered, like a 1st to 10. I was like, you don't know what you're getting into there, son.
Yeah.
You gotta play Koihime Imbu Ryo Rai Rai.
Jesus Christ.
You made that up just now.
No, I didn't. The game's actually decent.
Hey, one day
Some
you
of the
gotta
weird
play
Arca shit out there.
You gotta play one day. I know that people will
what's
defeat the
the-
Demon King or whatever.
The real test is
Another
like
good title.
being so fighting game build that like
Gotta play Blade Arcist from Shining Battle Arena.
you play Dead or Alive, right? And people are like Dead or Alive, and they're giving you that look, right? Like you're a weirdo, and you're like, no, I'm actually in it for the mechanics.
The
You
jiggle
were
mechanics.
in it for
yeah.
the mechanics before there was ever, a volleyball
Listen,
game.
the counter system in Dead or Alive is sick.
Yeah.
I'll go to my grave defending the counter system in Dead or Alive. It's is it extremely horny? Yes. Is Tekken also extremely horny? You seen Chun-Li lately?
Is
Just
Chun-Li in
saying.
Tekken?
No, I'm just talking like in general.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say Nina Williams in that wedding dress got me feeling some type of way, man.
The bride of Tekken, the pride of Tekken, Nina Williams.
Reina,
Yeah.
no slouch.
Listen, fighting
Azucena,
games are.
coffee lady, no slouch.
We love the coffee lady. The
She's
great
Brazilian,
thing about fighting
right?
games, she is. Yes, that sounds right.
Laura from Street Fighter, come on. Brazilians are out here representing the absolute finest that humanity has to offer, let me tell you.
Anyway, the point is that fighting games are like that one genre that no one's ever going to be accused of like being censored, because it's like, I don't know, man. Have you seen Chun-Li's like win pose, or like Kami's win pose, or like Ino's win pose, or like any of
Biken's
them?
walk animation.
Yeah, these people, fighting game developers, God bless them, are just as horny as us.
Yes. And bless them for that.
The mechanics are
seen-
degenerate, the tastes are degenerate, fighting games are degenerate, and it's good.
Have you
was
seen Majin Android 21's Air Level 3? Where at the end of it, she's sliding across the ground and she's straddling you, and she just puts both of her hands down with a giant fireball in all of her bosomy glory. It's pretty
Stop.
good.
I've never thought about it like that, but it's clear that you have. Although I have seen some of like the art you've put on your sticks, so
Hey,
never beating the allegations.
I'm a bosom enjoyer.
Nah.
Although
Never
the-
beating the allegations.
Although the funny thing about this is that I literally don't even care. Like, the funny thing is, I think Biken is like, I don't think she's unfortunate looking. I think there are several characters that are more attractive than Biken in Guilty Gear.
Everybody in Guilty Gear is hot.
Yeah.
It's true. Especially Potemkin.
Gold Lewis Dickinson? No, man. Nobody has ever had more sex than Gold Lewis Dickinson. I'm going to say that right now.
A man with a pompadour that high is fucking 24/7. He's
That
having
dude is.
He said, what was it?
yeah.
What was it you said last time, Chris? A pansexual feast?
Something like that.
Yeah, listen, nobody has ever, like, Gold Lewis is. That's a
Gold
man's man
Lewis
right there.
might as well be Dionysus, because he's out there he's just out there living it up.
Him and his best alien friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
When
real
that
wingman.
when that arm comes out of the coffin, you think that the only thing it's doing is setting little drones across the way? No. Back at the home office? No. They're getting up to some shenanigans. I can tell you that right now. All right, let's talk about something else. Anything else to get me away from this conversation that
You
I
are.
Quick, pivot.
You are
Should we
never
get us
beaten
out of here?
any of the allegations. Never mind, like, the allegations about you enjoying, certain things and putting them on your fight sticks. No allegation is ever being beaten by Brian Barnett. Brian, a jury of kittens would convict you.
You know what? That's fine. Bring them on. That's like that one
Straight to horny
Twitter
death.
interaction where they were talking about abortion, and the guy, some woman was like, a million babies would disagree with or would debate you on that, and he's like, that's fine. I would easily win a debate against a million babies.
You babies.
So good. Anyways, so that's the Marvel vs. Capcom collection and fighting games in general. Otherwise, I have been spending so much time playing some other stuff, but I want to get some other people in here before I get to it. Kris, what have you been getting into?
Well, I did not prepare my bit, or I would be putting on a scarf right now. Because
All right, well then, you know
really
what?
Fucking cold.
Go prepare your bit, and we'll go to Will.
No, it's fine.
Okay, there you go.
It's fine. No, I was going to put on a scarf and say, God, it's getting cold in here because I've been playing a lot of Frostpunk 2
Nice.
because that just came out. So, have anyone here played either of them, honestly?
Yeah, I played the first one, and I was going to play the second one for review, but then it fell through. So
Fair enough. No, I just bought it because I'm a big fan of the first one and thought, yeah, no, I'll do this. So, as is probably known, I am a sicko for city builders for whatever reason, because in a lot of ways they're the only goddamn RTS, macro I get these days.
Listen, man,
everybody knows Kris is a pervert for zoning.
It's true.
I just want to make a pretty pattern,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, dude, if that's the
Logistics.
case, Will, let me introduce you to some cool games later.
Okay.
Is it Toho? Toho has pattern.
No,
All I'm saying is, like, when I discovered the art of Spanish Rose in Age of Empires, I found God a little bit.
One of them is the block, and then another one is. Hold on, I'll look it up while you're talking, Kris.
Yeah, well, you say block, and then I just immediately think of some of the, designs in things like basically any of the old Sierra city builders where people just optimize these blocks of housing and how to get all the needs and everything and maximize desirability and such in this confined. It's like, yes, just place these everywhere and win the game. It's like,
Did he planning in this economy?
yeah. Well, at least you can actually have an economy in that game, unlike reality. Oh, I'm depressed now.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you trying to make me? It's Monday night. Why are you trying to make me sad?
Well, look, I've been playing Frostpunk 2, and the aim of that game is to make you very sad, or at least, make your people very, very sad, and try not to get too sad.
So are you sad?
I mean, I'm not sad, and that might be a problem. That might be a problem with Frostpunk 2, because it didn't make me feel nearly as sad as the first did. Like,
Oh man,
yeah.
That was hard.
Will, I have Clay Fighter on my Steam Deck, bro.
Oh shit, it's on.
I'm a pervert for real.
This okay? Like, listen, you don't actually have to play Clay Fighter. That game sucks.
No, I know. I'm just pointing out that, like, not only do I have it, it's literally on here already.
Oh my god.
He is ready to go.
He's beginning to believe.
I was looking for something else, and then I found out, oh shit, I have the Devil May Cry HD collection on here. Hell yeah. Keep going. Don't let me derail. I'm in
DMC3 though. You want to talk about DMC3? I want to talk about DMC3.
DMC3 is one of the ones that I have not played. I'm going to do it very soon.
Oh man, play some DMC3. But anyway, yeah. So
I think I skipped straight from 1 to 4. Anyways, ignore me. Ignore me.
Ignore me. Frostpunk. What was I saying?
You were saying it wasn't making you as sad as the first one.
Yeah. So
And that might be a problem.
that might be a problem because I think the first Frostpunk is really fucking good because it's almost like a survival game in its city builder because you have so many problems and you have to really, really juggle them while also, anything you do wrong will have cascading failures that mean in order to get ahead, you have to start making some questionable decisions. Like, okay, I can't keep up with the demand. Enough people are sick or injured that, I'm just going to death spiral and not have the resources to keep them heated. The children yearn for the mines. Click. And so you enact child labor. And then that makes people, lose hope, but you have all this workforce now. It's like, cool, I'll get the resources. Off you go. Gather more coal for me or you all starve. And yeah, but that's Frostpunk. And it's just the balance on that game, I feel, is really pitch perfect in how you really have to juggle the resources and your choices and such. It's like, if you want to be, keep your hands completely clean, you have to play flawlessly, sometimes have a bit of luck. But
Yeah.
once you get familiar with it, you can kind of navigate its systems best and, mitigate it. You never have to cross a line. But those first initial games where you're really trying to juggle everything just right, I feel like it can get really intense and has moments of just like, oh man. And yeah, so it made you consider what you were doing. And it's like, there was a message to be told here. It's like, how far will you go to survive in these dire circumstances and such? And that's the vision that game has, and it nails it. So I love Frostpunk. So I was very keen to see what Frostpunk 2 did. And I don't think it nails that balance quite as well. I need to play more of it still. I've put about, I'll check my Steam count. So I played through the story mode to completion and then a long time in the sandbox mode. So 22 hours currently. Decent length of time. But the game, Frostpunk 2 changes so much. It is not just like an iterative sequel. You could argue it's almost in a different subgenre. That's how extensive the changes are.
Oh, wow.
Because it goes from city builder to empire builder. The whole premise is we survived. Now what?
Oh no, we're doing a colonialism. You hate to see it.
You're playing as the remnants of the British Empire. Well, it was destined, and there's no one to stop you from getting what little spice remains.
I was about to say, is the food shitty? It
The
sounds like
spice
the food
must
is shitty.
flow.
Oh, it's so shit.
Accurate British Empire Simulator.
Basically, yeah.
Shout out to all our British fans who are eating beans on toast angrily at this moment.
So they survived. Now it's time to expand.
Basically, it's like, so if you do really well in the first game and let it ride, all the way and build up over time, your city will eventually have like something like 700 citizens or so. You start Frostpunk 2 with 3,000.
Yeah.
So, and it goes much bigger. Yes. The entire thing, it's almost like the camera is pulled back a layer, and you're no longer constructing individual buildings. You are now building districts. You are building specialized buildings within those districts and things like that with limited building space, but you are clearing large swaths of the map. Like the entire city that you built in the first game is now just the central district, the heart of your city now, and it's just, again, camera pulled back. Out you go.
No, it's a 4X game.
Or in a lot of ways, it feels like playing real-time Civ 6. Like hexes and districts and everything like that. It's like, yep, okay. It's still primarily, city builder and everything, but it has a lot of those aspects. But I'm not sure yet if the scale, like mechanically, I think it's a really good game still. I love that they didn't just rest on their laurels. I love that they experimented, tried something different, made it stand out. 2 does not invalidate 1. 1 does not invalidate 2. They can both exist, and that's cool. Not enough games do that. I just don't know if the balancing is quite so tight, and if the messaging and like thematic constraints of it quite land nearly as hard as the first one did. And that's mainly because I don't think the penalty for, or the consequence for failure or dark choices is nearly as impactful. Like, you can treat some of your people like absolute shit and basically nothing bad will happen. You can have a bad winter, bad storm rolls through, hundreds of people dying of the cold, and your productivity and such will not budge. Nothing has to change from it. It's like, I would like to not have that happen, but it's... And if I was being charitable...
Like it's on purpose.
That's the thing. If I was being charitable, I would say it's on purpose. It is the kind of, when you are that far removed from the individual, from the more intimate aspects of it, then it's just statistics. You kill one, it's a tragedy. You kill 10 million, it's a statistic.
It's egotistic, yeah.
I'm writing a review at the moment, and I have already quoted that. If that is the purpose, if that is the point, great. I'm just not necessarily sure it was quite by design, because the first game will make it very clear when it's going over your actions and such. It's like, you crossed that line, or you did that, and it will make you question. It will make you go, how could I have avoided this? Here, Frostpunk 2, it just kind of rolls with it. Like, bad stuff happens, consequences happen, and the only real negative or anything like that is simply from like a personal role-playing perspective. It's on me to judge, do I care enough about that? The game doesn't really do a great job of pushing it or selling that narrative from what I've seen.
So it doesn't draw attention to it at all.
Yeah, which is, I feel that's why I'm just not 100% sure about it and why I don't think it lands quite as well as the first. Because, yeah, there is the subtext. Yeah, there is probably the intentional part of it. But I think about this kind of stuff because I'm the kind of person to think about it. But is the average layperson going to do so? At the end of the day, it feels like I am asking rhetorical questions to the game because there's no answer. And that kind of sucks. I would like it to have a little more pushback, a little more actual discussion with the player to go, yeah, maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't. But both mechanically and narratively, it just doesn't quite land that consequence. So it's a very good city builder. I enjoy the actual rhythm and mechanical stuff of playing of it. It just doesn't hit quite as hard. Still, would recommend. I think it's on Game Pass, so worth checking out.
Cool.
Nice.
And play the first game if you haven't, because I still think that does a very good balancing act of that.
Yeah.
Love me some Frostpunk.
That's good. The people will definitely revolt against you if you are too strict or too nice.
Yeah, I'm seeing in various discords and such, people are saying, yeah, it gets hard. There are real consequences. And I'm just like, am I just good? Did I just manage to avoid them all?
You might be.
Skill issue.
It might just be a skill issue.
It might just be a skill. Maybe that's
But
what you should tell
in the
them.
wrong
Like, listen,
direction.
I'm not having any problems. Maybe I'll just suck.
I beat everybody in Elden
Maybe.
Ring on the first try. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's the thing. But I feel like I need to experience that consequence to really be able to write up a piece on it and to fully grasp exactly what it's trying to do. But at the same time, I don't know, because I did push against it. I'm just I made because there are factions. Your citizens will form into communities and factions that kind of have different ideologies, and I, ended up siding with one heavily over the other because I'm just like, you guys, you're a bunch of conservative fucks. Don't care about you in the slightest. How do I get rid of you? How do I just minimize your impact on society completely? And you cannot get rid of them. But I put my relationship to 0 with these people. I did everything I could to just mitigate their impact without, and I didn't go to extremes of genocide or culling or anything like that, partially because I don't even think that's possible. But you cannot just get rid of them. You cannot do anything like that. But their impact, even when they absolutely hate you, just felt negligible. It's just like, why are you still here? Why didn't you go form another city elsewhere? Seriously, what are you doing here? But yeah, so I pushed them really hard and the game just did not push back nearly hard enough. So I'm just like, I don't know. I have to experiment more with it, but I'll probably do so in the coming days.
That's really interesting.
But
good
yeah.
stuff.
What has everybody else been up to?
I have a game that I wanted to talk about on the Hacks podcast that we didn't actually get to talk about.
Sure.
I'm realizing is a failure on my part. So I played the Jam Silent Bob beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good. Surprisingly good video game.
Doesn't actually shock me as much as it probably should, but yeah, go.
Yeah,
go on.
it's a really gorgeous art. Feels really great. And has the technical stuff that you want in a modern day beat 'em up, where it's there's combos here. I can he's a Shoryuken and a Tatsu. Okay, I see you. There's a lot of fighting game references in the set for the characters, which is fun. But it's also very Jay and Silent Bob, which is goofy, over the top, vulgar humor. So yeah, I played it. I thought it was great. And I'm kind of I was thinking about the podcast last time. I was I didn't talk about this. But I love that we're in a beat 'em up renaissance. I love that you can make a lot of things into a beat 'em up and it just works, which is ironic because now I'm playing a beat 'em up that doesn't work as a beat 'em up. So playing Jay and Silent Bob for half an hour, I was like, this is fun. I'm having a good time. I was playing with a friend who just happened to be on the machine, and I was like, there's nobody else there. Just walk up, grab that controller and sit down and play. And
Second player.
Yeah, second player, and also good level of challenge too. I think we both died on the final boss of the demo twice. So it was oh, okay. So I don't know what I can say other than it's a beat 'em up. It's really well made and really good and really fun and super fun in co-op, and it's pretty, and it has cool combos and stuff. So definitely check out that when it comes out. I don't remember when it's coming out. When is it coming out? Jay and Silent Bob Beat 'em Up. Somebody look it up for me.
I will look it up for you.
Funny enough, I think this is the second one of those because I feel like there was already one a few years ago.
There might be.
I'm wondering if this is like the same people or
This one. Okay, so when is this? What's happening? Yeah, so this is the second one. The first one is an 8-bit game. This is not an 8-bit game.
Oh yeah.
First one is Mall Brawl. This one is
Jay and Silent
Chronic
Bob,
Blunt
Punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found it. It does not have a release date on Steam as yet.
Yeah, but keep an eye on it, like especially if you love beat 'em ups. Like I said, it's really great to be in like an era where you can just like sit down with a beat 'em up for the large part and just have a good time.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Very nice stylized.
It's beautifully animated. It feels great to like land hits. It's got great audio feedback.
Well, Digital Eclipse is publishing. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice.
Yeah, it was at the Atari booth, which was cool. But definitely something to keep your eye on, and something I enjoyed more than the current beat 'em up I'm playing, which I might get to if we have time. But I want to pass it over to Lucas. Oh, Lucas, I played the Romancing Saga 2 demo. It's pretty sick.
Hell yeah. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. So yeah, the game. I wanted to talk about it last week, but we didn't end up recording. But I feel like I'm gonna end up like kind of low key advocating for this game a little bit because it seems like most people didn't like it, but I loved it, and that is Yars Rising.
That game was cool. I also played that game at PAX and really enjoyed what I played of it. People didn't like that game? I thought that game felt great.
Yeah, I think I gave it a really good score. I think I saw one or two other positive scores, and then a lot of like, this is lame from people. This is what it is.
No, yeah, the Metacritic average.
Yeah. But
it's 91% on Steam.
Well, listen, the people on Steam just have more enjoyable taste. I will say though, it has that common protagonist problem where they talk too fucking much.
It's a very talky game. I mean, this is like,
well, that happened.
Yeah, kind of. This is a really like, this is Way Forward at its most like incorrigible. Way Forward has always kind of had like a style to it, even back in the day. But like in recent years, they've really just like, I feel like, refined and honed in and just reached a like new level of what Way Forward means. And this takes like all of their impulses and self-indulgence and just goes wild.
Ratchets it up.
Yeah. And I really respect that.
It's the Rockstar thing, right? Where it's like, I like that. I like when a development team is like, you know what? We're going to make the game we want to make. We don't care if you like it. Like,
yeah.
I wish more companies had fuck you Rockstar money, like Rockstar does, where they can just be like, we don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, we're going to keep Tap A to run in a game that's going to release in 2026, and you guys can stay mad about it.
Yeah, so...
I will stay mad at it.
Oh, I'm going to be right there with you.
So the interesting thing about this being like a Way Forward game is it's actually like licensed. So it's not like a Shantae or whatever their other original works are. It's an Atari collaboration, and it's collaborating with Yars Revenge, which is like a weird game by itself.
I knew I recognized the name from somewhere.
Yeah, it's also like so old that basically nobody has played it if you're beneath a certain age.
Yeah. I mean, it is a Atari game.
Like, it's like a 2600 game, right?
Yeah. And it's one of the like few successful first party ones, because at the time it was like Activision and all the third parties were really like had all the spotlight. So
Activision games used to be good. That's crazy. I'm sorry.
I know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so Yars Revenge is like, it's a shooter, like a sci-fi shooter, but it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, you have an enemy on one side, and they're kind of like covered by like a barrier, and then you're this little bug guy, and there's like this like digital noise band like vertically on the other side of the screen, and you have to send your little bug up to the barrier and like eat the barrier, and then go back to the digital noise, and that'll summon like a bullet behind you, and you have to line it up, shoot the bullet, and get out of the way of your own bullet in order to hit the enemy. That's kind of like the basic level 1 version of that. And over the years, they've tried to do other Yars games, and they basically kind of were like, well, we don't know what to do with this. We'll make it a twin stick shooter or whatever. So WayForward gets a hold of this, and they're like, well, what if we like made a Metroid game that's just like weird and silly and you know, WayForward as hell. And I was kind of looking at it when it got announced. I was like, well, I don't know about this. I mean, I like WayForward's kind of house style. Like, I like Shantae and like River City Girls well enough. But
River City Girls rules.
Yeah,
it's
true.
But, like Yars, and I don't know. This looks like they kind of toe the line. I mentioned this in my review of those like really lame like how to draw manga books you see on the shelf at like Walmart and arts and craft stores and stuff, where it's like a white man made this book. You can tell just looking at the cover.
The monster at the end of this book is a white dude.
And they kind of
there's a monster at the end of this book is a great book.
It is. But then I think they also kind of channel like Saturday morning cartoons a lot as well, and they kind of like smash them together in a way that's really effective. But anyways,
yeah, they towed the line between the two, and it's
yeah,
you can kind of tell as at a glance. It's like, oh yeah, that's a WayForward thing.
yeah,
And
exactly.
yeah, you gotta love that about them.
It's like if this was tuned like a little in the wrong direction, I would probably hate this. But for whatever reason, you guys kill it with it. So they take this game and they turn it into a Metrovania, and it's a very like kind of cyberpunk poppy, like lots of goofy, you know, internet gamer lingo and stuff. So it's not like serious at all. And you're just kind of like running around, and it starts out being like kind of stealthy, and it's very like standard Metroid kind of game. And then you get to a hacking terminal. It's like, okay, now you got to hack. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is where Yars comes in. And you go into the hacking terminal, and it's like Yars Revenge, but like through like a WarioWare kind of lens, where it's like they take the core of Yars Revenge and then find ways to like mix it up or make it weird or interesting. And that's your like hacking. And you hack a ton. Like that's all this game is. It's like you get like a little Mega Man 2 style shooter, but it's not really predominantly an action game. It's like you're going around and unlocking things and finding upgrades and stuff through hacking and playing like remixed Yars mini games. And that just really works. It's really cool. Like it's really fast paced. They're constantly finding weird ways to like modify the rules or add in a little extra mechanic, or just taking this little weird Atari games frameworks and then just like expanding it, but not just being that the whole time. And so like the Metroid part ends up being like a fun framing device more than anything else.
This is sounding like Nier Automata and the hacking in that.
Almost, but like imagine if the hacking was like the main thing in a way. And it's like creative. It ends up doing boss fights that are like based on other Atari games. Like there's a Black Widow boss fight, and you fight like if Missile Command was like a police robot. And then there's like another one that's way down that's kind of a spoiler. It's also like a terrible joke and a really good joke at the same time. I don't really know. It was like, I hate this, but I'm laughing kind of thing. And like it kind of like as you go, she gets more powers and more like she starts becoming like a Yar character. She gets like a cool like Kamen Rider bug suit by the end, so she's not just like a green-haired anime girl by the end. And it's just really creative, and it's like really fast-paced, and it's, you know, 8 hours long, and the soundtrack is holy crap amazing. They take like a lot of the composers they worked with, River City Girls, they come back. Then they also did like a remix contest where they kind of shot out their OST for the game to a bunch of different artists and had them all remix it and kind of brought their stuff in the game as well. And it's just like all over the place style wise, and it's like really like electronic and like vocalized pop music, and then I'm not good at talking about music, but it hits really well. Yeah, so I was just like, damn, I'm having a really great time with this game that I thought would be kind of mid. Apparently everyone else still thought it was kind of mid, but I loved it.
It's great.
Well, we are not opposed to, strange or unusual takes here,
Yeah.
especially when we're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, if anybody gets the chance to try it, I think it's definitely interesting enough to be, worth a shot. I haven't played
Yeah.
the whole thing, but
Yeah,
I did play like a decent chunk of it at West, and I really liked it.
there is
And it
looks
much
cool,
more
genuinely.
creativity in it than it seems at first.
And then Lucas got to review it, and I didn't, and I was sad. It beat me to the punch. I'm a bastard.
It happens.
We're competing
It does.
with each other now for spots.
It's fine.
There
I'm
can
not
be
upset.
only one.
I'm just giving Lucas a hard time, as one does.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. After the show, Will and Lucas are going to Highlander it out, and whoever remains, is going to have
The other one will
forward,
just, rip out the other's heart, raise it to the sky, and yell, Kalima, as you crush it.
Yeah.
And then the ratings system will add PG-13. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
What a time to be alive.
Who's next?
In the rotation, it's me.
Around.
Hell yeah.
So, I'm not wearing my Junpei Iori hat, but this week, I think so far, within the last several days, I have probably played around 50 hours of Persona.
Jesus.
Persona
Yeah, I saw
3.
the Steam notification pop up while I was playing like Frostpunk or whatever, and then it didn't stop for the entire day.
No.
It was just there.
Yeah.
Like, up. I see what he's doing.
Yeah, so I'm playing Persona 3 Reload. I previewed it for the podcast, but I had a lot of other stuff going, so I didn't actually get to continue it, which bummed me out. I have like a bunch of stuff. Working in this industry, there's a lot of times where you will want to play some stuff, and you particularly if it's a bigger thing, you just do not have the time to commit to it. However,
Especially in 2024, year of RPGs.
yeah. However, I got some guide work on the DLC, and the DLC takes place after the main story. And because I don't remember, this is one of those weird situations where I don't remember beating the original Persona 3 Portable when I played it, but I've played like 60 hours of this game, and I'm really approaching the end, and I did all of this. So I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like I literally just didn't do like the final boss battle, and that's for like whatever reason.
In
It
fairness,
could happen to you.
Yeah.
You
In
mean
fairness, the
before
final
DLC?
boss.
What's that?
You mean before the DLC, like December or whatever?
Yeah, like I don't remember finishing Persona 3. And it is October 30th in the game where I'm at right now. And I remember doing all of this previously.
You remember the final boss, because if
I
you've
do
done
not.
the final boss,
I do not
if you've
remember
done
the
the final
final
boss, you're not going to forget that final boss, because it's like a fucking hour long and 13 phases. Like that shit
Yeah.
is intense.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Persona 3
3.
Reload. So yeah.
Oh,
So like
you never finished it?
maybe I don't remember it. Like I don't remember.
We get to take his Persona card away, Chris.
I remember.
I guess so.
The really interesting thing is, I'm I'm fascinated to see if this is one of those things where it's like I play through it, I play to the end, through the credits, and I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely beat this before. Because like famously, Will and I have gone back and forth, and he was like, yeah, you don't get to have opinions on action games because you never played Ninja Gaiden Black. And then we realized it took forever. It took fucking forever, listeners.
And you're never, ever, ever gonna let him live it down.
I'm gonna live it down. I'm never gonna live it down. But
it's not my fault.
No, and it's not my fault either. It's like I've played fucking thousands of games. I've lived many lifetimes. You know, I don't remember all the shit. Like I've played fucking Armored Core games. Do I remember this once? No. But like, yeah, I didn't remember that I actually had played Ninja Gaiden Black until Will was going through, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to figure out which one of these games did I actually play. Because I played one of them, and then we went through, and he was like started talking about version-specific stuff, and we were like, "Oh shit, I actually have played that game, and I didn't even know it."
Yeah, we were sitting there for like probably half an hour trying to figure out if he had played the original release, the Hurricane Pack release, or Black.
Yeah,
because it was like, all right, do you remember this enemy?
Yeah.
No, okay, and you didn't play this one.
Yeah, and then a core memory unlocked when you started talking about exploding bats. Yeah, and I was like, those fucking...
I remember this conversation.
Those fucking bitches! I was so angry. It took me right back.
And then we knew.
And then it was like, all right. So we knew. But it's so weird. So it's like one of those scenarios, except not as bad, because I remember playing this, and I remember it being, even after playing 4 Golden and 5 and then 5 Royal, 3 Portable is still my favorite game in the series that I've played. Now, I've not played 1 and 2. I'm hoping that those get remakes soon so that I can experience those. But
they just got remakes not that long ago, like PSP ones. So yeah. Like they're available in. Okay, Lucas, help me out here. Is 2 Part 1 available in English?
Yes. So they did a PSP port for 2 Part 1, and then 2 Part 2 is a PS1 classic.
Are those available on Steam?
No, they would not. They are completely seaworthy, however, and there was a fan translation of 2 Part 1 even before the official one.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, I can probably hook that up. But yeah, and
they're good. They're good, but they're different.
Yeah.
Like, especially Persona 1 is still very much just like, we're still a Shin Megami Tensei game.
Yeah. Just my understanding is that 3 is when it became what it would ultimately be. Mm-hmm. And so if
the 2 duology is like an interesting middle ground between what it would become and what it was. Whereas 1 is
also weird because it has like adults in it.
Yeah.
And one part of it anyway.
Yeah.
And Hitler.
But anyways,
Hitler.
But yeah,
no joke. Hitler is in it. Hitler is one of the main antagonists.
But is Mecha Hitler in it?
No. He wears some pretty cool sunglasses.
Hitler carrying the Lance of Longinus and empowered by a Lovecraftian Elder God is.
Well, okay. I mean, that is to be. If you were going to offer me a choice, that is the one that I would pick.
Yeah, well, listen. This is the difference between Western and Japanese games, right? In a Western
seriously,
game, you get Mecha Hitler. In a Japanese game,
you get him holding the spear that pierced the side of Christ.
And what was the second part of that?
Empowered by Nyarlathotep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I had a stroke while you were talking. And
yeah. What? That's the crawling chaos, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, my God.
Persona 2 Innocent Sin is a fucking trip.
I'm ready.
It is a trip.
I'm ready. But anyways, all that to say, I mean, I dug this when Will and I had our Sega Atlas appointments at PAX West, I think like a year and a half ago at this point, or like a year and change ago. I mean, I loved it from the jump, but that was not a surprise because having platinumed Persona 5 Royal and reviewed it on this podcast, played 5, played P4 Golden, and I think platinumed it or almost did. Like 3 has always been my favorite. And playing this,
it's a good ass video game.
Playing Reload, it just cements it. Like it is the best game of 3, 4, 5. And I don't think it's close even. Like, I think that there's one critique that you could levy at it, with regards to like the other games. And that is, I wasn't thinking this previously. I heard somebody say it, but now going back and revisiting Reload, I do agree. I think that the palaces in 5 are more interesting than Tartarus. But I think that what they do with that interesting stuff, apart from the gameplay stuff, like what they do with the story bits, is like, it's not that interesting. And I feel like the cast of characters in 5 is like maybe the least interesting. Like, whereas 3 is like, there's literally only one pseudo weak link in 3, and every other character is an all-timer. Like, I think the main character in 3 is better than all the other ones. But, you know.
He's not as cool in Reload. But still, yeah.
Yeah, but he's still better than Yu Narukami. And he's still better than, I don't know what his name is now. You guys know about this, right? So when I played Persona 5, my understanding was his name is Akira Cross. But then now I'm hearing people call him Ren something.
I know him as Ren Amamiya, so
okay.
Yeah.
When I started up the game, the filled it in automatically was Akira Kurusu, which is Akira Cross.
I think the usual go-to is that when they have like manga releases of them, that is often the name that they pencil in, and sometimes that is maintained, sometimes it is not. Like Yu Narukami was basically just the Persona 4 protagonist from then on. I don't know if they ever completely solidified one for 3 until the movies. I think the movies have one, but I'm not sure if it's exactly the same.
Because it's Makoto Yuki now, but I don't remember what it was then. I don't know if they gave you an auto prompt at the beginning.
They didn't give you an auto prompt, but I think like the manga version did have a name, which wasn't that. So yeah.
So when I played Persona 5, it was on PS3. So I think between then and whatever, they changed his name to Ren, but his first name was Akira. So when I started mentioning it, when I was talking to Cam, he was like, Akira? Who the hell is Akira? I'm like, it's Joker. It's the protagonist of 5. And he's like, his name is Ren. I'm like, since fucking when? But anyways, all that to say.
Most people just call him Joker anyway, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, which is fine. You know, that's fine.
I call him hero protagonist.
Yeah, I mean, which is...
Yeah, no, that's the Dragon Quest XI character.
That's totally...
No, that's the dude from Snow Crash.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, all that to say...
Literally named that character, my God.
I've played, how many hours is it total in this game? It's like just a fucking stupid amount. But I've basically been just sitting around watching Curb Your Enthusiasm and playtime 107 hours. So, yeah, I've played a lot of Persona 3 Reload this week, and I cannot wait to get to the DLC. I was going to just jump right in, but it's like, it takes place afterwards, and I'm like, I don't remember the ending of this game. I'm just going to go through and do it. And I'm having a freaking blast, man. I love it. Koromaru, fucking best boy of all time. One of the GOATs. I mean, how many games
that can summon a persona and has little wings on his back?
Yeah, he's great.
He's the best.
And his persona is fucking Cerberus. Like, come on. And he has dark powers. And he guards a shrine. Yeah. And he used to hang out with a priest.
This dog sees himself as, the keeper of the underworld. Like,
yeah.
What up?
It's fucking great, man. It's great. How many other games about high schoolers let you team up with an elementary school kid? And he's a badass too. Come on.
Who really wants to kill another guy. Like,
yeah.
I'm glad you're having fun. I really bounced off Reload after just a few hours. And I'm wondering in this moment if that's because your previous experience with it was portable and mine was
and not FES.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have a similar experience to you, Lucas. So.
But yeah, it's. I wonder if it's like some kind of weird like. I kind of lost my train of thought, but I think you know where I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I understand. Yeah. So it was because the Persona 3 portable version is node based for most of the game. And so for like all of your social areas, it's just all nodes, and you just like move your little cursor around, click on the nodes, and then that will take you to like whatever it is. So like I never saw Iwo Todai Station. I never saw like Polonia Mall. It was just like a overhead view with a bunch of little nubs that you just clicked on. And the only time you were actually running around was when you were in Tartarus.
Yeah, so you're getting the entire Persona 3 world kind of for the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
Whereas,
Which is
weird. We've been visiting that shit since like 2006.
Which is
I was there
weird
when it was
because
edgy and cool.
I still like none of it feels new, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't. It feels familiar, even though like I never saw it. I don't know
very
why.
Faithful to the original beats. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it deviates much at all.
Yo, Lucas and Chris, as someone who's never played Persona 3, how much of you guys bouncing off of it do you think is like lack of new car smell? Like if you've played this before, right? Like,
For me, I think it's too much like the newer Persona games. 3 had like a real kind of like gnarly kind of horror like tinge to it.
Yeah, that has been it's been kind of yassified like Persona 5.
Yeah, the music's a little grungier, the visuals are darker, the animation's rougher, which kind of gives it like just a very different vibe. And
Even
I
just
think
like if you look at the
gem.
if you look at
Uncut
the
gem, yeah.
character profiles, like you'll pick up on like the sinister undertones of this game just from looking at the art.
Yeah.
Which
it's hella edgy.
Yeah, which is not how it is now because it's been so polished.
And I think that suits it given like the thematics of
Yeah.
3, which I agree with Brian in that is the best part of it. Like of the entire, like the themes and at the core of like pretty much like that permeates the entirety of Persona 3 more so than 4 and 5 do for their own ones.
It's of a
And I
piece
think
more
it's
than the other
so
games.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
listen,
I think
I don't know how you can yassify a game where to like some of their superpower people put a gun to their head and do, you know.
Well, I mean, the interesting
they actually
thing about
do
that,
though. That's the funny thing.
I know. I'm
interesting
just
thing-
I can't fathom how is my point.
The interesting thing about that is I feel like it is, and there's an argument to be made. Like we saw this in the Demon Souls remake, where it's just like it kind of with the lighting that they did, like it's less oppressive and stuff. There is. I don't necessarily think that one is more valuable than the other, but I can definitely see it being this presentation giving you more of a like Doki Doki Literature Club, like the discrepancy is the jarring kind of point of it, instead of it being like this is just always dire and dark and sinister and there's always something fucked up happening. Like I don't necessarily think that one approach is better than the other. I don't know if that's what they were going for. I imagine they were probably just doing this because Persona 5 was a huge fucking hit.
Yeah. It fits the brand as it is currently. And it's I wouldn't say one's better or not. I just prefer the other one.
Yeah.
There's just something about like even the music is like poppier and lighter in tone than the original.
Yeah, you can't put
Like,
somebody
they go,
into a trance in the new one.
I mean, you can. It's
Dance.
just, like,
I'm gonna put you in a
can barely
trance.
tell.
He doesn't say that. There's different lyrics now.
Oh, yeah. We'll see. Yeah. There you go.
I understood what
I
you
had that shit as my 3DS theme. So when I did custom firmware.
I said,
Because the-
hey. He doesn't say that anymore. That's super
track
goofy and
slaps.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah. They took all the rap out of Persona 3 now that I think about it.
Yeah. I mean, no, he still does it. It's just a different rap, which is unfortunate because the original is fucking
Its
stupid
background
and
is-
great.
has like more pop kind of layered
Yeah,
over top
yeah.
of it.
So I
You
would
get what I'm
so
saying? It's just they brighten it up.
they
in a
did,
way
they did,
that-
and graphically it looks beautiful, but yeah, it does lose a bit of like that oppression, which I do feel like is. Unfortunately is a really integral part of the story because this is kind of about that, like a bunch of horrendous things. They don't talk about that much. Like it's so weird because like the first place that you go in Persona 5 is a palace that is based on like one of the teachers at their school like sexually abusing one of the students, which is like supremely fucked up. but it's
And
still like
in absolute fairness, Persona 5 peaks really early because it never hits that high again.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Not even close.
It puts its best foot forward and then it fucking falls down the stairs like Jason Derulo at the Met Gala.
Like Sweet Bro.
It does eventually kind of catch itself back up, and it
does.
keeps happening.
It does. But yeah. It is bizarre that 5 is the one that hit hardest because I think that they kind of have just gotten worse from 3. Apart from like some not gay panic, but like kind of
4 ages poorly.
kind of
Definitely
kind
gay
of
panic.
kind of
100%
gay panic, yeah.
It's pretty blatant. I replayed that scene for an essay I was writing. It was like worse than I remembered.
It seemed but I don't know because it's not strictly gay panic, but it is definitely like stay within your gender stereotype activities for sure.
What is that scene where
Don't rock
Junpei's
the
yelling
boat
at him in
too.
the tent? And he's like, the voice actor is like actually yelling. It's really off-putting.
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't touch me while I'm sleeping," or whatever. It's just like, bro. And
Yeah.
it's the same character that's like, all right, we got to do Operation Spy on the women kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yusuke sucks, is what I'm kind of getting at. Just real garbage person.
Which sucks because he's incredibly me-coded. He has the same fucking haircut that I had in high school. He goes around wearing the same shit. He's got 2 kunai as weapons, like I have my drumsticks and shit. You know?
Yeah.
He's always like bopping and stuff. Like he's very I think my backlogged icon is still like him. And it sucks because he's like kind of a piece of shit. But anyways, back
Persona
to
4 has aged the worst, I think, of the 3.
yeah. But you know, what are you gonna do? 3 is great, but yes, I would say if you are asking those questions, Will, because you are thinking about maybe trying it. Everybody that I have talked to has said that FES on PS2 is like just the best version. I liked Portable, but you do lose something, and Portable has something that that FES doesn't, because I don't think in FES you can play as the female protagonist.
Nope.
That's correct. That was the
new
portable
for-
exclusive.
So
There is no definitive version of Persona 3,
which
is
fucking
really
sucks.
annoying.
I hope that Reload ultimately becomes that, even though it wouldn't for like Vibe and other stuff like that. But they added the answer, which was in FES, I think.
That was the
was what
FES
FES
bonus
was,
campaign thing.
Yeah. So
Which isn't even that good, to be fair.
yeah.
But shout
But
out
I'm
to them
glad
for actually
that
preserving it, at
they've
least.
added it.
Yeah.
And it should have gone
And,
to
hey,
people who bought the
maybe
deluxe
maybe the actual
Ultimate
polish
versions.
on maybe the polish that they applied to 3 gives the answer a better lease on life, because the original, like, the journey didn't need it. Like, Persona 3 didn't need what it got, and I feel, to go back to the original question of why I bounced off, like, part of it is just, it's been a busy fucking year. Part of it, it's not even dislike. I do want to go back and do intend to go back at some point, but I feel, I did remember just sitting there feeling like they polished the shit out of this thing and it gleams, but in doing so, they polished off all the rough edges that still made them, made it so I felt something,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very rounded stone in my hand.
Yeah.
It's the Valve problem, you might say,
Yeah.
where they focus test all the fun out of it.
Yeah.
It's
quite
definitely
possibly.
like the whole question of like, why is Persona 5 the one that's like made it? And I think they just like they calculated the mass appeal very well.
Right place,
They did-
right
they did
time
some
for the
math.
right people.
Yeah.
Yeah, right place, right time. The children yearn for jazz and don't know where it comes from.
That's true.
Yeah, they do.
I legitimately, unironically think that the music and the style of the menus in that game is what made Persona 5 hit.
I think
100%.
it is 100% aesthetics. I don't think it has anything to do with
That
like,
game is stylized top to bottom.
to the nth degree.
Yeah.
right?
And like so few games are. It is oozing style. Multiple people have said specifically the word oozing about that game, about that style.
It
Yeah,
is
that's true. Like,
secreting
when you-
style.
When you go back to 3 and 4, they are just kind of like normal menus and stuff. So that tracks. for sure.
There's a little spice, there's a little color, but like 5 is just all in.
Yeah. And 3
you
Reload
know
does
it
add
works
some of
because
that
they're doing
to
the
it,
exact same thing in Metaphor.
Yes.
Like we can see that coming up. It's like, yeah, they're going all in on that style push.
And to your point, Brian, you were saying they do it in 3. That was one part I did like. I did like the menus, and
That was an upgrade for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, having Makoto like be upside down listening to music in the menu, and then like when you're selecting your different characters, he's holding like a shard of broken glass, and when you go over the characters, it reflects like the eyes of the different character. It's like, come on, you know, it's really really well done. Part of what makes like iconography and character design, or part of what makes good character design is having like recognizable silhouettes. And if you can do that on multiple aspects, where like you have like somebody helping you and like a bar comes across and it's just got like their eyes and you can tell who it is, I mean, that's awesome. And there is a lot of that in here. And so I applaud them for that. Yeah, I wish that we didn't lose so much of the original vibe, but I will still say I think the story is the best. I think the characters are the best. And I really don't feel like the subsequent games really added anything to the gameplay that didn't already exist in 3. So I don't miss anything that isn't here. So if you're looking to jump in, this is a good way to do it. But like FES on PS2, like if you have access to that, that is probably still the best version. But
I'd say like the remake is good if you never played the original. I think that would be the best way to do it. If you're going to revisit it, like someone like, Lucas or I are, there are little things that are missing or absent or changed that are just enough to go, I don't know about that. But if you never experienced it before, it's still perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If
there are elements of the original that, especially gameplay-wise, that certainly have been scrubbed out of the series since. Like, you couldn't control your party members. That's the big one.
Yeah, that was added in Portable and 4. So.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you give them tactics, but otherwise you're only controlling, And multiple party wipes happen because it's like, fucking Mitsuru, heal me. Marin fucking Karin.
Stop using buffs, please.
Tentarafu!
I think there's some other weird stuff that kind of got ironed out as they iterated. So going back in that way, you'll have to confront that. But...
Things like the tiredness and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't miss that. I understand why it's, making it more approachable for people, but I like that stuff. But anyways, all that to say, I really enjoy it. If you don't have access to a PS2 or an emulator to play FES, like I think Reload is still like totally viable. I love it. If you're looking to optimize and play like the best version, that's probably the best version. Although I did remember when I was like, I wonder why I didn't finish it. If indeed I didn't finish it, which I will let you know, probably by next episode. Because at that point I will have finished it because I'm playing this for like 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day.
It would genuinely shock me if you had forgotten the final boss and the ending. So
I think I probably didn't, but if I did not finish it, I do remember I played a ton of the game as both the male and the female. Like I played a ton of it. So that is probably why.
And the campaigns shift. Like
it's different.
A bunch of things shift if you are the female character for, to account for character differences, different social links, different, potential romances. It's possible to have a certain character death not happen, things like that.
Yeah.
Isn't the soundtrack completely different too?
It's really
they made
good.
some additions and shifted it around. Like the main battle theme changes.
Like I want her to come back.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Don't even have to change the name. You can still call her Makoto Yuki.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a unisex name. Those are great. All right.
Shout out to Makoto in Street Fighter 3.
Yeah. Makoto was awesome.
She hit too hard.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
That's the point.
It is the point. When I play Akuma, my health is non-existent. Anyways. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we wrap this episode up? No?
So,
There's always a bunch of things I can talk about, but like, Frostpunk 2 was the big one, so I'm good to wrap it there if we need to get moving.
Yeah.
I
Let's
played
get out of
Epic
here.
Mickey. It's Epic Mickey.
What do
Still
you
Epic
do? You want to
Mickey.
do you want to do like a quick tag for that, or do you want to save that for next ep and get into it more in depth?
I don't think it's worth getting into in depth, honestly.
Okay.
It's
Give us
Read
your-
the game
Lucas's
is very
review on
fine.
shacknews.com. It is quite good, actually.
you can
He
read
cooks.
my review.
Oh yeah, there you go. Plug that and just give us the cliff notes.
Yeah, basically, Epic Mickey is a platformer from the Wii. They made it look nicer and control a little better. But it's also really weird playing it now because it's about like it's about like resuscitating and respecting and having reverence to like old IP and old things. And it's like out while Disney and Microsoft and everyone are doing the opposite of that right now. So it's kind of like, I don't.
Disney in 2024.
Yeah, you have no right to be telling me this shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
As they destroy multiple of the most valuable IP in history.
And show no reverence and no regard for art or creativity, just the profit margin.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of the cliff notes.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get out of here so we can all go back to couch rotting and
Next
watching.
time we can all talk more about Deadlock because we'll have actually played more games.
That's
hopefully.
true. And between now and then, I will actually play it because I know that
Yeah.
I feel like multiple people have played it and I have not.
I played exactly 3 games.
Nice.
It makes me want to play more. But
Let's
I'm gonna
play.
with you.
Let's link up and play some.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 325 of the Platformers. If you got thoughts or ideas or anything like that, hit us up. We love talking to you guys. You can find me on Twitter and at Ribnax, RIBNAX, and Blue Sky and Backlogged at Brian Barnett, Brian with an I and 2 T's at the end. And you can find me on twitch.tv/Ribnax, where we stream episodes on Monday evenings at 7 p.m. Central Time, roundabouts, give or take. And then you can find the archived at youtube.com/Ribnax, where you can watch it on VOD and all that sort of stuff. You can check out my new Baldur's Gate 3 guides on ways to get some really bizarre options in Act 1 and some quests throughout the whole game that you probably missed, and how to get a really overpowered weapon very early in the game, like an end game weapon within the first 4 hours of the game, over at Kotaku, where I'm writing guides. You can also check out my MVC collection breakdown, where I tell you basically what the best part of each game is, why it should be the one that you play, and what you're going to get from doing it. So check those out. I've also got some other stuff coming up about the DLC for Diablo 4 and, of course, Persona 3 Reload's Answer DLC. But yeah, that's what I've got going on, and then the show. So I'll have more music for you guys soon, but you'll have to wait on that. So I still got to get in the studio. Kris, where can everybody find you?
You can predominantly find me here, but I try to be here just about every time. But for all other writing purposes, you can find my website at versusthebacklog.com. That's vsthebacklog.com. You can also find some of my collaborative work. I've chipped in at a project for acclaimedgames.com, which is definitely worth checking out. You can find me on the internet as either Chris Cornelius or Delphir, EEI. And yeah, say hi if you see me. How about you, Will?
You can find me on Twitter at ByWillBurger. That's Burger with an O, not a U. You can also find me on Blue Sky. I actually posted on it the other day. I'm so proud of myself. I know you're Alan, bro. And yeah, you can see some of my recent stuff at IGN. I reviewed the new Harry Potter Quidditch game, which is peak fine. You know, if you want to play Quidditch, you will have there's an enjoyable Quidditch game there. Just beware of the black mold. I hear it's everywhere. If you are looking... Yeah, it'll get you. You can also find me at Shack News, where I've written some recent previews for the best stuff I saw at PAX West. And I'm also working on a couple of other projects for them. And check out the October version or October issue of PC Gamer, because I might be in it.
Ooh.
Nice. And listen to the last episode of the Platformers podcast if you want to hear what he and Thomas played
At PAX West.
at PAX West.
Yeah. I think together between the two of us, we saw about 60 games, and we put together a best of list that a bunch of stuff that should be on your radar. So that's me. Lucas, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on socials at Hokutono Lucas. Maybe I'll also use Blue Sky again because things are rough out there in Twitterland.
And it sounds like they're about to get rougher, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, just when I'm starting to get traction on my posts again, things start nosediving. You can find most of my writing either at Shack News or Kotaku right now, including reviews for the games I talked about on the show. And that's pretty much it for me.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, from everybody here at the Platformers, I hope you have a wonderful week and stay safe out there. Because until next time, we are out.
Peace.
Peace.
Goodbye.